Guys, hello and welcome to Skycurser Daily number 69, where it's our goal to be a better indie dev today than we were yesterday. We made some really good progress yesterday. We got through a bug that had reared its ugly head based on some new code that we added to level 2, but we were able to squash the bug and the functionality still remains in level 2, so we're in a really good spot right now. So for this evening, if you joined me a couple of streams ago and you weren't able to join me yesterday, or if you hopped out of the stream yesterday before you saw the bug, before you saw that we fixed the bug, we just fixed the operator menu. After we finished up the operator menu, we then moved on to fixing this bug, and now we're at the point where we're going to handle two new items right now. The new items are new but not completely new, so we're going to modify the way that the players' lives display on screen, because I think I have those assets to be able to do that. And then we're also going to modify the way that the HUD, the heads-up display works. So I'm going to try to make some progress on that tonight, and yeah, we'll just kind of see where it goes and how well we do with it. So I think I'm going to do it based off of a recent HUD display that I have. So yeah, I think there's not necessarily a need to show the game, considering we did that right at the end of the last stream and showed that we had fixed the bug. We played all the way through, even to the end of level 2 up to this point. So right now, I think the next step for me is to make sure we have some items in Trello. And we have just a couple of items left here. These items are finished. Let me check these off because I haven't been able to update these the last couple days. That one's done. Bookkeeping is actually done. Utilities is done. Man, that feels good to check these off and call them done. So now we can take these over to complete. Let me just do that, get these out of here so that I can make sure I'm focusing on what I need to focus on. This operator screen should be done. Let me look at this. Track mode, sound, on or off. We're not focusing on a track mode. I'm going to leave that one undone just so I remember that I have it. Test grid, button, test, apply settings throughout game, valid settings for my INI file. So we have everything done except for this guy right here. So I think we can close that. Let me look at my priorities here. Oh. Mic isn't working. Let me... Retro Rusty, can you hear me speaking? Because my... Chris, my mic is showing that I am it is working, so there might be something going on there. Is it on your end is the question. Okay, I didn't really change anything, so that's interesting. Alright, so I'm going to continue working here. I think my sound levels are okay, so it shouldn't have messed. It wasn't working when you first started. Interesting, I don't know. I think we're good. Awesome, dude. Glad you guys are here and working on scripting. That's good. Okay. I'm just looking at the list of items we have here. HUD update, that's basically what we're going to be working on. Remove background, part 1, level 1 loop. I'll leave that alone for right now. Okay, good. Awesome, Retro. Russ, I should say. No bank on the supers. POW goes away. 25 kills for each weapon. The super is ready. Okay, 25 kills. Got it. Level 2 background bridge, background dock, scripting. Pebs on level 1 need spaced out close to what they were. I'm going to leave that one alone for now, but I'll leave it here. Level 1 updates and bugs. Let me look at these real quick. Level 1 updates. Update the background to make sure it loops at part 1 of level 1. Remove the loop background. Okay, gonna leave that alone still. Bugs. Center reflection layer jump out of place. On screen shake, always reproducible when deflecting an EBP missile. Okay, I know that's a bug. I'm gonna leave that alone for now. Looking to shotgun blast against files seems weak. Against flies seems weak. I think that's working now. I'll verify that today. Necrostar chunks. If Katana connects with the Necrostar before the hotspot, it should not cancel out the opportunity. Okay, that's fine. The PEB bug between tanks and after drop down to part 2. I fixed that. Turn off ability to do specials while Skycurser is stationary at boss. Ooh, okay, I've got to fix that. Make sure boss does not come on screen until all enemies are gone. Skycurser will die because he's frozen if other enemies are still on screen. I think this was fixed based on what my changes that I made yesterday. So I'm going to leave that one. I'm going to check that one off. Can it be used if it's only me working on a game? Yeah, it's helpful to keep. Mainly, it's helpful as like a way to keep your notes. You can keep your notes somewhere else, but the main thing is that it just helps me remember exactly what it is that I have to work on and make sure that it gets complete without forgetting about it. So technically, I'm the only one who's adding to Trello right now. Chris and Phil could, and I think they have in the past. But I've added most of these notes in here, and this just helps me make sure that I'm addressing what I was aware of, but want to make sure I didn't forget. So it's been really helpful for me. What else? And you know, the other thing is it's going to be helpful for anybody in the future, anybody else who comes onto the project. Okay, so just keep looking here. New screen updates. I'm not sure what that is. I think I'm gonna leave that one alone. Yeah, that one doesn't have anything on it. I think that's. Oh, that was menu screen update. Now this is menu screen bugs. Attract video, track video, track video. Done with that. Already looked through these. Level 2 bugs. Street light, ground light. Currently good until loop. Okay. Fix headlights for large civilian obstacle. Fix dire PEB. Location on PEB streamlined. Dire PEBs are coming. One PEB too soon. We fixed this. Fix the enemy activation. Partially broken when destroying good helis. Can't always reproduce. Heli Wolf bobs up and down when following Skycurser when on the same plane. Okay, so that's fine. I'll leave that alone. Overall bugs. Issue with Katana blade disappearing in combination with shotgun. When an object that causes screen shake flies outside the room, screen shakes when the enemy is destroyed. Yeah, that's an issue. Overall updates. Move all actions in object events to script. Make a projectile based object. HUD display needs updated. We're going to do that today. Need to develop keylogger for track mode, and we need to add the thruster dust. So we could do those two together. I'm more focused on the HUD update than anything else today. So yeah, I totally think it's worth using just for myself, honestly. Like I've found some really good value in it. It's a free account forever unless you like really want to like do some team, you know, even teams can use it though. Like, so there's only you only hit a certain level before you need to ever pay for it, and I've never even hit that level on my own personal account. So there's no need really to pay for anything, but yeah, I think it's been really helpful. Code, organization file, take that pay down. Minor bugs, video player, asteroid depth. Position 1 high score, followed by position 2 high score. Yeah, I'm aware of that. Control audio with computer. Yeah, we're basically doing that through the menu, the operator menu. Okay, cool. Alright, so I've got 3 priorities that should be on the list for today. I'm going to check this off for the operator menu. The HUD update. The other is the thruster dust. Pull hold this up here. And the other one was a simple one. I'm trying to remember what it was. I have an idea for a game, even have a name for it, but now I gotta learn how to code in GMS. Yeah, dude. Awesome, man. Okay. HUD, thruster. Yeah. Lives left. Guy icon. So these three things, if we can get these done today, we're doing really good. So thruster dust is only something that will show up at least right now on level 2. It may show up later in different levels. And thruster dust will for sure only probably show up to a certain level until we get a couple other things in place. So I think we'll just leave it at that for now. Take these guys out of here. All right. HUD update. Let's go look at our documents that we need to look at for this. So give me just 1 second. Sprites, super HUD, meter animation is going to be here. Nice. Okay, cool. Guy's icon. That's pretty much it. Let me see though. Let me look at this super HUD. There it is. So that's a modification. Trello is fully online. You don't need to download anything. Yeah, that's right. And if you want, you can put it on your smartphone too and manage items from your smartphone. It's pretty cool. HUD samples, let's look at that. So HUD is up there in the corner, down in the bottom left. I think I like that one the best. So that one, the HUD can still go away and we can put the arms right underneath it. That's what I like. Although this one is cool because it shows it right up here next to how many guys you have left. Let me think about that one for a minute. I don't know. I think I like this one the best. Having this thing right sitting on top of that, and then it would never slide away. Only the HUD would slide away, and then we would have the super list right there. That's awesome. Yeah, I prefer the one at the top. Oh, you like the one at the top? Interesting. I guess that's probably better, the one at the top. But yeah, I think, yeah. Mainly, I think it's better because if the player wants to look up and see how many lives they have or how many kills they have, they can also see how many supers they have. They can look at their credits. it's just kind of the place to go, and this guy down here is just doing his own thing. So yeah, we'll put it there. Super meters on the bottom. Oh, so you said the one on the super meters on the bottom. Okay, cool. Well, we'll do that one, Chris. Yeah, we can do it down there. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, you're typing and I'm ahead or behind. I'm ahead on my side, behind on your side, so it just kind of creates a lot of lag in our conversation. So, okay, I think we're in a good spot with this. This is the one we'll use. So I think I have everything I need. Put this back to what it should be. And back to our sprites. Okay, let's just focus hardcore on the super HUD. So we're going to download this guy. Downloaded, and then I'm going to download the super meter animation. Let's just download everything together. And then I'm going to download guy's icon. I know that I'm pretty sure the thruster dust is in here. I gotta pull that out of here. Here it is. Yep, let's pull this because I don't think I have this yet. Download. So those are literally the three things that I have a goal to finish today. If I finish these, we'll be smoking. So let's do this. Okay. So let's look at our sprites. Skycurser does not have the dust yet, so let's go ahead and pull that in. First, let's go to our desktop and make sure we have those. I thought they would drop right on my desktop, but apparently they did not. Okay, so I've got a couple of zips that were downloaded. I'll pull those to my desktop. Guy's icon, pull, and there's something else. Super HUD. There it is. Okay, cool. I heard you. Yeah. Okay, cool. We got these here. And guy's icon can pop over here. And super HUD. I'm not seeing. Come on, super HUD. There we go. Okay. Now we just pull those in here. Sprite, Skycurser. Just call it the whole shebang. Thruster dust. Load sprite. thought for sure I imported that previously, but I guess not. So that's here now. And probably best to put that. That's 90 pixels wide. I need to see how wide Skycurser is. Skycurser is 82 wide and has an origin at 50. So 82 minus 50 is 32 on the right side. But nonetheless, 82 is a difference of 8. So that should be 4 on each side. So if I put it at 54, it should leave 36 on the other side. Let's do center first and then go 54. I'll probably just want to put that down 30. Yeah, that's probably going to be as close as it should be. I'll figure out the positioning to get it exact a little bit later. Okay, good with that guy. Perhaps you should use either Skype or TeamSpeak. No worries, I would like to at least see the one with the meters on the bottom, very similar to what's in fighting games. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Rusty, we do sometimes we hop on Skype, but I know Chris is also working with Phil right now. They're doing some, they're also doing some scripting of level 2, so. Okay, so also in here we want to create another sprite. Super. Whoops, edit. Let's just reload it and remove background. Hit OK, perfect. I'm good with that. I'll leave the origin at 0, 0. That works perfect for me. Actually, if I put it at 0, 17, that would be very interesting because I could just originate it at the very bottom of the screen and it would be above the screen perfectly. It would be literally at the bottom left corner of the screen. So I think I might try that. Otherwise, I mean, we can notch it up a couple of pixels to keep it off the bottom. Normally, I don't put the Y position at the bottom of the image, though. But I think this makes sense. So let's do that. And then I need another sprite, which is the sprite arms super meter. Sprite. That's gotta be okay. Background. Let me just see what this looks like. I think I'm gonna have to look at the mask so I can zoom in real quick. Okay, and the other thing is we will look at the preview. Okay, and of course it won't just do it like that. We'll control what sprites show up, but let's slow that down a little bit, or speed it up. To go a little bit slower. Okay, cool. Alright, so I think once it hits, I'm gonna see. 21. Might be 25. Yeah, 25 through 29 are the loop for this thing. So we'll just keep that in mind. So we're good there. This guy up underneath. Okay, what else? Guy icon. Super small icon. Okay. Let's do that. Okay, so I think the first thing I want to do is remove the pals from the room. And that's probably going to be under persistent object. There it is. So this is it right here. We could literally just remove it. I think we will. X position, string width of the message lives +2 +10. So I think we literally just comment this out. And that should do what we needed to do there. And then we're going to remove the actual message in terms of live left, but we're going to output it in a different location. Okay, this is good because then I can determine exactly where this is sitting on screen, and I gotta see where that is actually drawn. Here it is. It's at an X position of 2 plus whatever the current view is. Oh man, I got another follow. See, Dual FXMC, thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate it. Welcome to the Griffin Aerotech School of Aviation. Okay, so I think at this point I can just comment this guy out, and I'll have the... How are we doing fonts? We do fonts via bitmap. Are you familiar? Okay, so guys are there. Not sure how you do them in GameMaker Studio, so I'll show you real quick. And you can easily look this up online on YouTube. You can find it, I'm positive, because I found it myself. But you have, where do we put this? Backgrounds, fonts, and we have a sprite bitmap font. And here's our general small one. And I'll show you what this looks like. Well, actually this isn't going to be the greatest example. Let me pull it from the web where we have it stored so you can see what it looks like. And then you'll import it into, you eventually import it into GMS, and GMS will slice it up exactly correctly if you do it right. And yeah. So basically you have more than your 26 characters. You have your 0 through 9. You also have any special characters that you want. And when you set up a bitmap sprite, basically it's kind of like a font map, then you have to have certain characters in certain places so that when you try to use, say, an exclamation point, a special character, that it knows exactly which section from the bitmap to pull it from. So let me look for it real quick. Here's our fonts. Oh, it's not the correct folder. Let's see if I can find it somewhere else for you. Here we go, this is probably it. Yeah. So, yeah. So you can have it set up. You can either do one single row, or you can do grids, or you can do, a grid would just basically be like, 8 across by 10 down or something like that. But we chose to do ours in one single row. And you'll notice that we have spaces between some of these special characters. That's because each one of these letters and numbers were hand drawn by Pixel, and they have to be in a very specific place, and we did a little bit of research to make sure that we were putting each of these in the exact correct location. But if we wanted these other special characters, we would have had to add those as well. And just to get us off the ground up and running, we wanted to just make sure that we had the basic main things that we needed. And in our case, we're only using upper letters, so I basically have to, any message that I output to screen has to be uppercase. We could do lowercase, we just didn't include those in here. Those would be further down on the row. But yeah, Chris is saying it's tricky, mainly because, like I was saying, you have to get these characters exactly in the right location, and they have to be spaced just perfectly, an equal distance apart, so that when GameMaker goes to slice the bitmap, it knows exactly how many pixels is between each one, and nothing gets sliced up incorrectly. And it knows that when you type exclamation point, it's going to pull from this character right here. When you type single quote, it's going to pull from this character right here. Or question mark, it's going to pull from this character right here. If you had this question mark in a different location, like over here a couple pixels to the left, then it would not know when you type question mark and you're trying to output a question mark in GameMaker, it wouldn't know exactly which character you're trying to type. Conversely, it would if you typed a different character, and I don't know what character actually sits right here unless I go look it up, but if you typed a different character, the question mark would show up in place of it. So hopefully that helps. But basically I took this sprite and then imported the sprite. I can't remember if I did like a specific import. think I did a load sprite and I pulled it in, and and I can't remember exactly how I pulled it in. I would have to look it up again, but it might have been under BMP images, and then it gave me some options to split up the file exactly correct. And now that I'm thinking about it, there may have been one other way, which was create sprite, and then you load your sprite in, and then you edit it. Well, I don't even have to edit it in. I can create from a strip or add from a strip, and I pulled in the bitmap font here and then sliced it up correctly with the correct spacing. So hopefully that helps. Okay. Now the main thing is I just want to start outputting these, so I'm going to go over to the step. I'm going to just add in here the output of the particular images, and I think even I might be able to do this yeah, no problem, man. Glad to help. I think I can do most of this here, and I'll do script guy lives, and it'll be run here, but it'll also be run yeah, I don't know. I'll work some controls in here, but we're gonna have to run it in the step event as well. So I'm gonna create a script here that will get called right from the create event inside of the persistent controller. And I'm gonna keep it simple, put it under helpers. Actually, let's put this under the persistent controller section. So controllers here, runes are here, obstacles. I don't think I have one for the persistent controller yet. So let's create one. Okay. Script guy lives. And from here, I think this has to start out as whatever the value is for the default number of lives based on the operator menu. So we're going to have to do a read-in of that particular value. I think we should be able to do this fairly simply. This shouldn't be super difficult. I'm going to pull some code that I've already written. Here we go. We have an INI getter here. And I need to look up the exact value that I need to pull in, so I'm going to go do that. have the defaults in the operator menu. And I've got this one titled lives per credit. So that would be literally the default amount of lives. Cancel, don't close, don't close. So OP lives per credit, we're pulling it from the correct file. We're pulling this from adjustments. Let's verify this here. It's not going to be in this file, it'll be in read op menu INI vals, which is right here. So before I just start typing this, we're verifying it. A lives per credit val is found in the adjustments section in the INI file. Adjustments, OP lives per credit. It should be a number, and default is 0. If it can't find anything, but it should always be able to find something. So from here, we also need to know I think what we'll do is pass self into the script. So in here, we'll pass self in. Self should have a couple of key items. Most importantly, when it's finally set, it should have the value for the width of message lives. So I need to know message lives width so that I can place this exactly in the correct position. So let's note that we're passing that in. Argument 0 equals object controller persistent, and set a simple argument so that we don't have to spell out argument 0 each time. So we've got the lives per credit right here. We can say set a default here and say message lives with set equals false. As soon as that value is set to true, then we can check for the correct value. So of course it gets set right here. We can just go ahead and say message lives with set equals true right here. As soon as that gets set, we have access to what we need to have access to, arg0.this. And actually I will not run anything until we pull that in. And once we have a go on that, we can then say for var I equals 0, I is less than OP lives per credit, because that's just an actual number. I++, we're doing a loop inside of the script. And I'm going to add one more default here, which will be message lives, or not message lives, but guy icons generated was false. So we'll say, and actually as I'm thinking about this, it doesn't make any sense for us to look up this value inside of the create event. We'll push this over to the step event. If that is set, and this, yeah, and that. So actually, and not that, because it will not be set first, and that's when we want to set it. And then as soon as we set it, we'll set that to true, because we know we're setting it in this section right here. But initially, yeah, it won't be able to get into here until this is true as well. So we're doing good here. So I think at this point we say if, no, not if, but instance create. We say guy icon equals that instance create x and y. So the x is the view, x view plus 2, and I'm going off of the lives position right here, right? X position score right here. 2. And then the width of message lives. So I should have arg0 since it's been set, message lives width right here. So I have the X position, that should be the valid X position plus whatever buffer I want. Let's say, I don't know if 5 is going to be too much or not, let's just leave it at 5. The Y position is going to be 2, let's keep it the same as what we have there, view Y view plus 2. And then we're going to create the object, and I haven't even created this object yet. Let's do that. Keep it under Skycurser, create object. Object, guy, icon, I like to name them as close to whatever the sprite was as possible so that it's simple to remember. It feels like part of that image got deleted whenever I removed the background. I'll double check that. I don't really need to add any events to this. So object, guy, icon, boom, he's there. And now I think we need to have a width multiplier so that if we have, you know, 3, 4, 5 lives at each interval, we multiply this position right here, or add this position right here, you know, add 5 or however much the width is of this position. So let's of this sprite. So let's look at the width of the sprite. The width is 11. So let's take this value right here and take it out of the loop. Put it right here. This will be var default x equals that. And we will say default x plus I times 11, which is the width. So if it's 0, it'll be 0 times 11. If it's 1, it'll be 1 times 11. If it'll be 2, it'll be 2 times 11. And then whatever buffer we want between each of these. So I'm going to say just 2 for right now. And you know, we got to consider what might happen if the operator has way too many, you know, if the operator says, I'm just going to add, you know, 30 icons, 30 lives to each credit. What do we do once we hit where the score is, where the kills are? So let's look and see where that originates from. So that originates from view x view plus half the room width. And we should have a width here as well. We don't have it set right now, but we're going to set it right here. So we're drawing this text. Here's our message kills. We don't have a message kills width. We can simply say message kills width right here. String width of message kills. That should give us our string width, no problem. So, and we know that this originates in the middle of the room, and then it will be the width of this divided by 2. So minus the width of message kills divided by 2, mainly because since it's centered, we have half of that entire string on the left portion of the screen, half of that entire string on the right portion of the screen. So we have to subtract that amount. So we'll verify all this is going to work here in a minute. But let's make sure we have this right. And we'll have a default Y as well, right? So X here, var default Y equals this guy. And then we'll modify the default Y based on how far across the screen we are. So I'm going to pull this guy out and say var xpos equals this. And we'll have to recalculate the x position if we move down a line, if that makes sense. Var ypos equals default y, but we will change that here in a minute with some calculations. So let's think about this. If we are past let's mark out where exactly the kills text is going to be on screen. So we're going to say var, and this needs to be arg0, I'm realizing. So let me make sure I put that in there. Okay. We say var x kills equals room width divided by 2. Then we subtract off of that the arg0 dot message kills width divided by 2. That will give us the very left position, or the very left x position of the kills on screen. So what we need to check is if this x position, if x position plus 11, which is the width of the icon, is greater than or equal to x kills, then we reset the x position. And how are we going to do that? I think we're going to have a different version of this incrementer right here. But we'll reset it. Xpos equals def x plus, and I'll figure out what to do with this I plus 2, right? So it'll be very close to the default. But this I is now going to reset. We might have an I or something like that. And then this this would obviously reset as well. So the Y position would be equal to default Y I think we just have a column and row counter. I think that's what we should do. Var call counter equals 0, var row counter equals 0. And then we'll just have the call counter increments each time through the loop, call counter. and then column counter, right? And then we'll reset the column counter right here. Cool. Yeah, I don't know what the buffering is, man. I think maybe you have to get some faster upload speed or something. I'm not sure. Column counter equals 0. So we reset the column counter and let it increment again at the end. So this now is column counter. And we also want to increment the row counter. So this will be plus row counter times 12 plus 2. So it's 12. The height of this thing is 12. Why don't we just say sprite get width, and so that way we definitely have the sprite width, and I'm not just having a hard-coded value in there, right? Let's just do sprite get height, sprite guy icon, boom. So row counter plus the row counter times the height plus 2. So keep a space of 2 pixels between each row. And I think that gives us a good update here. And let's say row counter equals row counter plus plus here, right? And what I think that means is, since this is basically the exact same, I can just take this and put this right here. Now let's do this. Let's put this counter at the very bottom. And this should not be plus 11, this should be sprite get width. Sprite guy icon. So we have the X position plus the current X position plus the width of the sprite guy icon. The current X position is determined by the default wherever message lives finishes. This is view X view, so plus 2, so that's past the edge of the screen. I think we might just go plus 2 here. So that so that just past the end of the guy's message on screen, we add 2 more pixels to have a space, and yeah, that should give us a good position for where we're going to start generating these icons. We're gonna put a space of 2 between each one of them. Let's just actually just spell that out right here. I don't know what happened there. Bar spacer 2 spacer, because I'm using this in multiple locations. View X view and Y view. This is for the edge of the screen, so I'm not going to touch those pieces. This right here is for the spacer. This is a spacer, and I think we're in a good position there. I think technically right here I could just add one more to this, and this would be like a look ahead to see if we're about to, on the very next time around, to see if we're about to connect with the kills message. So spacer in between icons greater than or equal to X kills, column counter equals 0, so we're resetting the column counter, which is important here, and we're incrementing the row counter, which is important here. And I think that'll do it. So the last thing we need to do is take the guy live script over to the step menu and make sure guy icons generated gets set to false the moment Skycurser loses a life, and then they will regenerate on their own. So output the guy lives icons, pass self in, oops, not all caps self, and let's see. So I think we're good there. And I need to get this guy icons generated property. Take it over to, save that. Take it over to the object Skycurser, where we decrement the lives on death. Script object Skycurser dies is where I need to go. Skycurser dies. Lives left is decremented right there. PC ref, player time paused. Credits minus equals 1. So I think this is where I should set this to 0. Or yeah, set it to false. So arg0.pcref.this guy equals false. So it'll regenerate the icons based on. Ooh, we're going to need to pass one more value into that, which is how many lives are left. I think global.lives_left should cover it in both scenarios. So let's see where global.lives_left is set in the first place. I think it's under a controller, persistent controller actually. Let's double check this. Lives left. Let's look at script reset game or get game defaults. So that'll be under room controls, I'm sure, for scripts. Reset game. Helpers, there it is. And we have all these global variables set here. I think I have to go look and see where they're set at. Global.lives_left equals, show me that. Gotta be off. Understandable. Russ, good to see you again, man. Talk to you later, bro. Alright, the step event. Not sure when you're streaming next, but I'll see you then. Sounds good, man. Good, so step event, we are setting everything there. Let me look in the look at the Skycurser dies. That's what we're working on right there. Set level vars is perfect. Okay, so that's already been set by this point. Let's just verify that in the create, which is not going to be right there. Since this is a global variable, yeah, I think we just wait, and now we're gonna have to probably call this script. We'd probably call it from set level vars, in fact. Although I wouldn't necessarily want to do it that way. We could probably call it from the base room controller object. Rooms, base controller room. I'm guessing it's going to be in the init, where that is called out, the set level vars. So let's go look at the script, room base init. There it is, set level vars, good. Argument 0 is passing the base controller in. So yeah, I think we set it right here. So we just do script guy lives as soon as, and we also make sure we're in one of the rooms. And we'll be in one of the rooms if the base controller room is available. So I mean, technically that's why we put the whole set level vars piece here. Where is that? So we have the PC reference right here. That's good. The thing is, I don't want to call any script about guy lives until we have global.lives left. So I think we can do that right here, like literally. So we're going to populate the guy icons for lives left. Through here, we're going to pass in arg0.pcref. Okay. And so that way, when you get to this looking for my new controller script. I must have dropped that into the wrong location. Good, there it is. Okay, so we have guy lives here. We're getting the object controller persistent here, and we have to make sure guys global.lives left is set. We basically did that by just not calling it until after we set it right here. So I'm going to say that's good. What else? I think that's it. This needs to change to global.lives left, because that was basically the whole point of us calling it there. We know it's getting set correctly through here. This is what we were using right here. Now that it's getting set correctly, we just call global.lives left. Boom. So that'll only get called once on set level vars. Now we need to make sure it gets reactivated based on this guy right here whenever Skycurser dies. So we're in the process of doing that by going to Skycurser and looking at his death script, and we were setting that to false right here, and I think we've got it basically. I think that does it right there. Argument 0 is incorrect right here. To say argument 0.pc reference, it actually might be correct. I think I might have that PC reference inside of the create event here. I'm double checking. Yeah, I do. So we're good. So that's my persistent controller reference, and that is setting it to false, so that basically whenever guy loses a life, it will reactivate itself and rerun, and then it will subtract. It'll look like it subtracts all of those lives. One thing I need to do is destroy that object on screen before I try to create a whole bunch of new ones. So I got to do that before I actually hop in game, and it's a really simple thing to do. I'm going to do it in the same script. Controllers, persistent guy lives, and we're about to hop in game in a minute, I know, but I'll hop out of there. So we just say something like if object exists object guy icon sorry about that with object guy icon instance destroy. So it should destroy all references to that object before we try to regenerate them on screen. And we're checking before we even try to destroy it. We're making sure it exists before we try, otherwise we'll get an error. Let's try that. Of course, we have a bug. Surprise, surprise. I got to take this out of the init. It doesn't make sense to have it in the init. And that is called from base controller room init. Actually, I think that is actually correct. So let me go look at that. I was thinking I didn't remove it from the persistent controller, so let me make sure I did that before I hop out of here. Did I remove it? No, I didn't. Glad I looked for that. It doesn't need to be in the persistent controller anymore. It is here. Line 4, argument 0. This should be a simple fix. I don't know exactly what the issue is. It says illegal access of argument. In other words, it's not been provided. So I think here's our issue, is that we need to pass in the reference to object controller persistent. Technically, we don't need to. Let's look and see if it's already been created with set level vars. So I'm looking for that real quick. There'll be a script. Be under rooms. Set level vars. Do I have a reference? Yes, I do. So arg0, the room controller object, I should be able to just call this right here and pass this in as the reference. Okay, that should fix that. Play. Let's go for it again. Okay, got some other error. It's got a problem with arg0 because I am not referencing arg0 correctly. So let's go var arg0 equals argument 0, and then we can replace these arg0s with arg0. And I'm not referencing, I am, so let's just return arg0 there. Try it again. I've just kind of updated the way I've passed in arguments and handled arguments over time, so we were seeing some of the legacy of the way I was handling arguments. It's pretty straightforward though. I'm not doing much there. I'm just changing how I'm referencing it.
Mission 1.
There it is. Look at that. So we can tell that that's perfect. We could tell that the positions are going to need to be updated a little bit. So the Y position needs to be pulled back, or you know what, we can just center the point of origin, because I don't think I'm doing that yet. And yeah, center it, so that should fix most of that. And then I would like to put the spacer a little bit wider, because it didn't look too big. I think I'd like a little bit more space in there. Spacer, let's just put it to 4 instead of 2, double it, hit play again. Come on.
Mission 1.
Perfect.
Death at dusk. Go.
Basically still doesn't look like it's controlling what I think it should be. So I think I see what's happening there. Boom, look at that. Just deleted. Just deleted. What happens when I have 0? I'm curious. Nothing. Perfect.
Continue.
And then I need to re-add that on continue. I need to set guy icon generated to false on continue. That'll be straightforward. But the spacer is not quite doing what I hoped it would do, and I just need to update that. So I guess I am adding spacer to this, which I'm surprised about. Oh. Default X. Oh, the spacer is not inside of the parentheses. That's going to be my problem. I need to multiply. The whole value. That should fix the spacer issue. And I would also like to see, okay, so let's first of all fix the continue, right? So continue is definitely in persistent controller, it's in step. We have a reference to persistent controller because we are persistent controller. And I think all we have to do here is figure out when they're continuing. lives left equals the default value, and here's where we would just say guy icon generated equals false, and that should redraw everything for us. So let's make sure guy icon generate icons is plural. So gotta update that correctly. That should fix that. Set it to false, and then it should automatically pick that up and redraw right here. Oh, you told me. Cool. Huh. Yeah. I didn't know what you were saying.
Mission 1. Death at dusk. Go.
Okay, so now that I actually see the spacer, it's a little bit further than I wanted it to be, so let's just fix that. And I think I don't necessarily want the spacer on the Y position, so I'm going to remove the way I had that. Keep the spacer on the outside off the Y position. Keep it on the inside there, and then reduce this back down to 2, because now I'm actually going to see what it should look like. Alright, try this again.
Mission 1. Death at dusk. Go.
Okay, die. Continue. Boom, add it back in. And, I still think I need to pull the Y position down a little bit. The default Y should probably be +4, and that should probably be +4. Let's leave that alone, and I guess we'll do one more test, which is what happens if the operator adds, 20 different lives, because they could technically do that per credit. So let's just make sure it doesn't break,
Mission
There's
1.
the new spacing. So let's restart and change the setting to lives per credit. Something ridiculous like 16. Okay, go back to the top. Reset the game. Oh, look at that. Pretty close. Pretty freaking close. For whatever reason, when it goes down to the next line, man, that was pretty good overall, guys. I mean, I did all that in my head. I'm just kind of like playing through this and see what it actually does. It should be just fine. Boom. Okay. Love it. Okay, so the X position gets interesting whenever it goes to the new row. Dang, that was tight. I'm so pumped about that. That was pretty straightforward. So you just want the operator to just get cut off at 6 no matter what? Okay. Easy. Easy peasy. We'll just leave that code in there so that it's not going to hurt to leave that code at all. So let's just leave it in there. It'll handle itself without breaking at all. So let's make sure that the operator can't take it above 6. Lives per credit. Else if real new value greater than 6, new value equals 6, and that will be only for lives per credit. So we'll break that guy out into its own. Make sure everything else doesn't get added into that. So coins per play, this guy should actually probably be above the other two if we're just keeping it consistent in terms of layout on screen. So we just have if it drops below 0 on lives per credit, it stays at 0. If it goes above 6, it stays at 6. Everything else can coins per play, coins per continue, be whatever the operator wants it to be. So play. Verify that change is working. Boom. It's automatically 6. I can't go above 6 now. Stops at 0. 3. It should probably stop at 1 on lives per credit as I'm thinking about it, because what's the point of having 0 lives? What happens if you, I'm curious now, what happens if you actually did that? You would basically not be able to play the game.
Mission 1. Death at
Just the player can
dusk.
play.
Go.
Wow, I'm surprised. Okay, let's take that down to 1 instead of 0. So they can specify minimum of 1 life. Lives per credit. 1. So you probably want to do the same thing for coins per play and coins per continue, because why would you ever set that to 0 unless you're doing free play, which you would just turn on free play there. So I'm going to set these to 1 as well. Yeah, let's just leave it at 6 for the hell of it. Okay.
Mission 1.
Boom, look at that. Oh, it's so good, man.
Go.
Just kill them off real quick, make sure one more time that everything's working, and then we'll move to the HUD.
Continue.
Okay, cool. I like it. That's done. Check it off the list. Lives. Okay, HUD. Bring the HUD. Bring on the HUD. Okay, so I think I'm going to put this in here. Create an object. Let's make sure we name it the same. Sprite arms super. So we just say object arms super. And we set it to sprite, which is under Skycurser. Arms, let's say okay on that guy for now. We'll update him in a minute. Okay, object, one more, which is object, arms, super, meter. And for this guy, we will say super meter. Cool. Okay. So whenever cockpit gets generated, we're going to generate arms super. So we need to look for that. I'm pretty sure that's just going to be here in the create event of Skycurser. So just looking for that. And if it's not, it's very likely in a step event. Let's look at this guy. Perfect. Yeah, this is it. So here we'll also just create the super meter and super meter. I'm just going to call it the whole thing. Arms super instance create. Remember how we talked about setting it at 0, 0? We could probably set it at oh, tight. I'll check that out in a minute. I think what you're saying is that takes it down so that the 3 different weapons don't highlight whenever he's using the 3 weapons. If I'm just kind of thinking where your head was at when you changed that. So this would be room. X would be 0. Y would be room height. And put their spaces in here, and this would be object arms super. Okay, so then the arms super dot Vulcan equals instance create, say V meter, S meter, and K meter. Now the positioning on these I'm going to have to play with because I'm not exactly sure what the position should be yet, so I'm going to have to do some finagling here, and I'm going to make sure this guy's at 0, 0 in terms of its position. Yeah, and it is. Cool. Okay, so right, get height of the sprite arms super. The X position would be take a look at the X position. The height is 17. This is probably just actually something like 9. And it looks like that's 7 or 8 pixels right there. And the width of the meter itself is 26. So the next one should be pretty close to that as well. So this will be object arms super meter. Cool. this will be 8 plus sprite get width of the sprite arms super meter. And this is probably 8 times 2 because this is now the second character, and this is probably 8 times 3 because this will be the third character, and we'll do sprite. We're going to do times 2 on this guy. Sprite get width of the sprite arms super meter. And this isn't going to be 100%, but this should be pretty close. So last thing we have to do is make sure the depth is set on the arms super and each one of these meters. So arms super dot depth equals, so we're going to go pass everything through the script depth engine, and this will be the pass in this guy as it is. So let's go look at the depth engine. We passed in object cockpit frame for 90, so this should probably literally be at the same depth, or maybe -1, so you'd be at 89. And this would be the object arms super meter, super object arms super, and then the depth on this one should definitely be basically the same as this other one. So case object arms super meter, so these should both have basically 90. The super should be in front of the super meter, and the super bar, I should say, should be in front of the super meter. And so we just subtract 1 off of that. I think that should do it. But the last thing we have to do is make sure that each one of these is passed in. Just pass it in like this. I'm not sure if this is going to work. I don't usually reference my code like this, so we're just going to see. Cool. Let's find out. Is that ringing on TV?
Mission 1.
Oh yeah, look at that. Pretty close. Pretty freaking close. WolfTunes39, what's up, man? Welcome. Oh, look at that. Super meter. Tight. Okay, so this should actually be, instead of 8, this should be room height -8. So it should be room height -8 on all these, but these should be taken down to the X. So let me do that. 9 times 2 plus. Awesome, dude. So WolfTunes, are you working on a project right now? -8 should be room height -8 on all of them. It is. However, this guy needs to be taken out of here as well. Times 3. Yeah. Sweet, dude. So tell us about it. Tell us about what project you're working on. I've been trying to map out some GMS developers and exactly what games they're working on. So tell me what the game is, what the name of it is, where you're thinking about putting it at. It sounds like you've got a you're building it in GMS. Jumper game. Extremely big story game. Release date 2016. Tight. Can you talk about the name of it? Tower Defense on the other one. Jumper game. That's tight, man. Chris, I'm not sure. I think I saw one game. Hoping you release an early alpha. It is the jumper game. I think it's an extremely... Oh. Wait, is the jumper game separate from the extremely big story game? I read that as all one, so... okay, that's cool, man. No worries, no worries. Yeah, dude, come back and talk about it whenever you can, man. Love to hear about it. It's awesome that you're building it in GMS. Sweet. Alright, let's try this update right here. Nah. Got it. 2 different games. Tight.
Mission 1. Death at dusk.
Oh, that's pretty close. Let's see where this is sitting. Yeah, so the only problem that I have right now is the image, and I'll probably put this off 2 pixels. So let's look at the depth engine real quick on that. Let's change this to 8. And that should fix the other one, because I think the other item is sitting right on top of the cockpit frame. Yeah. No, I'm good. I'll start. It'll start coming together here. Alright, so that should give me a little bit better insight into where those meters are sitting at. Let's look at this one more time, because at the moment it's a little bit hard to see where those meters are sitting, and maybe those meters should actually be sitting on top based on the graphic that I see.
Mission 1.
Oh man, I guess that's up a little bit higher than I thought it was. Let's go look at that. So that is the object guy cockpit. So I must be missing him. Where is he? I bet he's getting created when this guy gets created. So let's look at the object cockpit frame. Create. Yep, not setting a depth on it. Guy cockpit dot depth equals self dot depth -1. I'll just say depth -1. I need to specify self. Yeah, they are. I'm working on that right now on the meters. Tightness. Ready for the bridge section. Tight.
Mission 1.
Ah. Are you joking me right now? Why is that not sitting up high enough? Let's get crazy with this. 70. Okay, sounds good on that. Yep.
Mission 1. Death
Wow,
at
that is
dusk.
really stubborn. I'm gonna send object guide cockpit through the death engine. Let's put him at. We'll probably just literally put him at the exact same level and make sure that he gets passed in through here. Depth equals script depth engine passing guy cockpit, the reference basically of the object. Play.
Mission 1. Death at dusk.
Meters themselves shouldn't overlap. There should be a 1 pixel gap between the top of the meters and the bottom of frame of guy's cockpit cam. Okay, cool. So I'm going to set the X position via Skycurser, which is actually right here. I've got room height minus that plus 2. So let's actually subtract some more off of this. And subtract the sprite get height of the sprite arms super. Play.
Mission 1. Death at dusk.
Okay, so the X position here is 2. I'm going to do the same thing with these guys. Add 2. Can't see that yet, but I'll check it in a second. And I need to subtract 2 more off of here. I think that would be right. Oh, the other thing is I didn't subtract 2 off of the Y position. Do that now. And that would be 10. That would be 10, and then I need to subtract 2 more off of here because I changed the Y position there. Let's try that.
Mission 1. Death at dusk.
The Y position. Huh. Minus 2. Cool, let's try that again.
Mission 1. Death at
That is
dusk.
pretty
Go!
close to right. Yeah, that's baller, man. Okay. And then I need to move those a little bit to the right. They look like they're off by about... We need a couple more pixels here. Let's try that.
Mission 1. Death at dusk. Go!
Okay, it looks like they need to come up one as well. The Y position. And they need to also sit on top of, so I'm going to fix that at the same time here. Cockpit screen should overlap over the word arms. So it'll be just 1 pixel above the top of the meters. Got it. I think you're saying, I think you mean the other way around. You mean the arms word should overlap on top of the cockpit screen. I'll check that out in a second. So let's say 13, 13, 13. Minus 11 is good there. And, okay, let's try this. Oh, I did want to change one thing before I went back in, which was the depth of those guys. I want them to sit on top of. Gotta fix that first. Yeah, I want to move this. Okay, let's do that.
Mission 1.
Okay, and let's look at the reference image. It's hard to get a good look at that reference image because it's super small on Drive, you know. Okay, that makes sense, Chris. So it's literally left off. This guy is literally touching the bottom of the screen. These guys are at 9. This is at 9. This is at 9. And this guy should be room height minus cockpit height minus. Let's just do this. See what that looks like. I think I still have some movement to make on that one though.
Mission 1. Death at dusk. Go!
So that needs to come way down. Let's say, I don't know why I paused. I must have it like a pause button or something. 6. Okay, I'll get the updated cockpit.